What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus package update, stimulus check update, and daily news. Everything going on here in our country, in Washington, D.C., and everything you need to know about on a daily basis. Money, investing in the stock market, you know it. We cover it here on our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, subscribe right now by clicking the subscribe button. It's completely free to do so you don't miss out on new videos that come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, thank you so much for hitting the like button for us. You guys are absolutely amazing. All right, we got some breaking news from Senator Joe Manchin, Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, and Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski from Alaska. Senator Joe Manchin, a Democratic senator, is from West Virginia. They did an interview together and have some interesting things to say about the Build Back Better stimulus package, as well as a government shutdown coming up, and several different things that we're going to talk about and show you. So first off, let's roll the tape. We'll show you what both of them said. What's interesting here is that Joe Manchin, Democratic senator, is and Lisa Murkowski, Republican senator from Alaska, they've both been kind of known to cross party lines. Of course, we know that Joe Manchin, some of our viewers would tell you he's a dino, Democrat in name only, and leans towards the Republican side. Well, Lisa Murkowski, Republican from Alaska, has been one of the Republicans that has been speculated could vote with the Democrats for stimulus items, including the possible Build Back Better package. And you'll hear Joe Manchin reference that in this video. You'll hear him point to her and say that. So she is one of the possible Republicans that could step forward and actually vote yes on stimulus type items, Build Back Better, even though Build Back Better is essentially not going to be Build Back Better anymore. It's probably going to get a new name. It's going to be a new package. And Joe Manchin actually has some optimistic things to say about that. And we'll talk about this after the tape. So here we go.
Build Back Better. Is it dead? Is there any opportunity for it to come back with your support?
The Build Back Better, as it has been presented, that bill no longer will exist, okay? Should there be parts of it? Do you want to talk about different things? I think the president said there might be certain parts and this and that. My biggest concern and my biggest opposition, it did not go through the process. Whether Lisa votes for it or not, being a Republican, she should have at least the opportunity to have input. It should have gone through the committee. These are major changes. It's going to change society as we know it.
Yeah.
So those changes should be a hearing. It should be a markup. And then you're going to have a better product whether your friends on the other side vote for it or not. But they have to have input.
Have you talked to President Biden about Build Back Better in any way forward, a smaller bill?
We've had a conversation, but we really didn't get into that because right now our main concern is to get a budget.
You want a budget bill first?
We have to get a budget bill first. The bottom line is the budget bill. We just talked to the military. We had a security meeting, all of us there, and the geopolitical unrest that we have, especially with Ukraine and Russia, and with all of Europe and all of our NATO allies. And the military was there, and they were asked point blank, what challenges do you have if we stay with the CR, continuing resolution? We're working off of basically the last year of the Trump administration's budget.
And in fact, Senator Manchin, you did something very unusual in 2020. You crossed party lines and endorsed Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine for re-election. I can't help but notice that Senator Murkowski...
I'm endorsing my dear friend Lisa Murkowski. Alaska could only be so lucky to have her continue to serve them.
Thank you.
She knows I feel that way too, very strongly. Only thing I've said is hypocritical to basically work with a person day in and day out, and then when they're in cycle, you're supposed to be against them because they have an R or a D by their name. If these are good people I've worked with, we have accomplished a lot, why in the world wouldn't I want to work with them and to continue to work with them? Doesn't matter whether I'm a Democrat and they're Republican or vice versa. They've been my dear friends, and we get a lot accomplished, and I think the country has fared better with us working together than not.
Senator
There used to be a time when we did that.
I know.
Stevens and Inouye, legendary.
I'm all for you.
They would go and campaign in one another states.
Oh, Stevens from Alaska and Inouye from Hawaii. Yeah.
Yep.
Would campaign for each other.
Yeah.
It's a weird time, though, for partisan politics, right? And I dare say it's a little weirder for Republicans right now. The RNC, just on Friday, censured Cheney and Kinzinger, two very conservative members of Congress, because they're participating in the investigation into January 6th. And in fact, they accused Kinzinger and Cheney of participating in the, quote, persecution of ordinary citizens engaged in legitimate political discourse. Now, you tweeted yesterday that that description is just plain wrong. We cannot allow a false narrative to be created. It must be uncomfortable to be a non-rigidly partisan person during this period.
During this period, yes, but it can be uncomfortable. It can be uncomfortable when you say, I'm not going to align myself neatly with what the party is saying just because the party is saying. You've got to be comfortable enough in who you are and who you represent and why you're here. I mean, I'm not here to be the representative of the Republican Party. I'm here to be the representative for Alaskan people. And I take that charge very, very seriously. So when there is a conflict, when the party is taking an approach or saying things that I think are just absolutely wrong, I think it's my responsibility as an Alaskan senator speaking out for Alaskans to just speak the truth. And I think that that's hard because we seek protection in our lanes over to the right and over to the left. And that gives you company. But is that really why people sent you here? Is that really what they want? I don't think people in Alaska want that. I don't think people in West Virginia expect that. And so, yeah, it's harder. It is harder. The easier thing to do is just go along to get along.
Or just keep your mouth shut.
Just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's not why we're here. We're here to do some hard things. And sometimes the hard things are to say, I want to get something done rather than just follow the messaging from our respective parties. Let's try to get something done.
You know, I do want to say in regards to what Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski from Alaska is saying there, I do agree with her. And Joe Manchin obviously has done that with against the Democrats, as she has done that against the Republicans. Personally, if I was in the Senate, that's what I would do no matter what party I was in. And we've seen a lot of people do this and then either switch parties or switch to independent. So Senator Bernie Sanders, a lot of people think he's a Democrat. He's actually an independent. So he has an I next to his name. Even though he votes with the Democrats, the vast majority of times, he's actually considered an independent, interestingly enough. So because he just doesn't want to be told what to do. Similar to Joe Manchin and Lisa Murkowski there. So it's interesting because I would be the same way. And if you've been watching me for a long time, I've said it that I don't side with either side. I don't always vote Democrat. I don't always vote Republican. And that's just who I am because I don't always see blue and I don't always see red. And I kind of applaud both of them. And I'm not really choosing sides here because, you know, we'd have to go into, you know, individual things of what they both stand here for. But I do kind of applaud them for at least saying, hey, I do kind of think that we need to talk about or see things differently than, you know, just doing what everybody else wants to do. Now, Joe Manchin and the whole stimulus package, I don't really totally agree with that per se, because I think that there's a lot of people that need help right now. So I'm not necessarily agreeing with that, but you guys kind of understand where I'm going here, because I just wouldn't be that type of person that if I was in either party and they were like, hey, Jimmy, you got to vote this way. If I didn't agree with that, I would be the same way. I'd be like, I'm not going to vote that way just because you told me to vote that way. I mean, you let me know your thoughts in the comments, but I'm just not the type of person that would vote Democrat or would vote Republican every single time, every single year, and I surely wouldn't do it because somebody told me to. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I totally agree with them, and they've gotten criticism from their own party a lot of times for not, you know, agreeing with the party. But now, whether it's right or wrong, of course, each individual time does kind of come down. Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema have gotten a lot of criticism lately because it's just kind of been over and over and over again, and it's kind of getting like, what are they doing here? Are they sabotaging the party here? There's people in need. Like Joe Manchin says that he's in favor of the child tax credits, as an example here that just kind of comes to mind. He's in favor of the child tax credits, but then when it comes time to vote for the child tax credits, he's like, nah, and then he kind of comes up with all these excuses. And then we have like Democratic Representative AOC who says we gave him everything he asked for, and he didn't vote for it. So it's Joe Manchin. We've had a lot of people say he changes his mind on a daily basis, but on the other hand, he did vote yes on the third stimulus check package, that $1,400 third stimulus check, $1,400 stimulus check for children, and $1,400 for adult dependents and college student dependents, and the rent assistance, the mortgage assistance, the utility assistance, everything that was in, and the child tax credits that were in that for 1 year, $3,000 to $3,600, everything that was in that package, the Democrats passed that on their own. So it's almost like you just got to catch him on the right day where he agrees with everything. And Kirsten Sinema voted for that as well. So it's almost just like you got to, I don't know, finesse it and also get him to the terms that he agrees with. And then he also had this to say.
First of all, Jake,
It's what we tell our kids.
I'm not a Washington Democrat. I'm a good old West Virginia Democrat who likes all my West Virginia Republicans. And I know that I have to have their input for us to get good outcome for our West Virginia citizens that we represent. We have a lot of friends who aren't stereotype Washington Republicans. Okay, there are Alaska Republicans, and there's all different Republicans who represent the state. Never forget where you came from. Never forget who you work for. Never forget your purpose of being here. And I've always said this, I want to make sure I take care of my country. I'm an American before I'm anything. I'm an American first. And I'm so proud of my country and the opportunities I've had. I also am here to do a job for the people of West Virginia, so they're my employers.
Yeah, so Joe Manchin says he's, quote, not a Washington Democrat. Never forget who your employers are, who you work for. In this case, he says he works for the people of West Virginia. But you also got to remember that he does actually work for everybody else in a sense as well, because he's voting on these national packages as well. He's voting on national Build Back Better. He's voting on government shutdowns. He's voting on the voting rights packages, which he helped author. He's voting on everything for the country as well. He's not just voting on things for West Virginia. He's voting on packages for everything. So in a way, one could argue that he is a Washington Democrat because he's voting on behalf of people in Washington. He's voting on behalf of people in California. He's voting on behalf of people in Texas. He's voting on behalf of people in Florida and everywhere in the United States. Now, I get what he's saying here. He's not a Washington Democrat in the tried and true sense of the word. I get it, right? But you can kind of know where I'm going here too as well. It's not just West Virginians that he's working for. I get that they're the people that vote for him. And remember that in recent past, I haven't seen a recent polling from him or about him, but he's had really, really low polling in the past where his approval rating was like 40% or lower. So it's not like his home state's voters really think that he's doing the best job ever, right? And we'll see when he comes up for re-election if he wins or not, right? And I mean, you can let me know your thoughts on how you think he's doing as a whole. I mean, some people like him, some people hate him, and I guess it depends on which way you lean and how you actually think he's doing. But that's the thing, is that it affects everybody. I mean, these packages, stimulus checks, stimulus items, Build Back Better provisions in there, all the things that are in there, the child tax credits. I mean, those are monthly checks that go out to 60 million children and 40 some million families. Of course, some families have more than one child, but those aren't affecting just people in West Virginia. If Joe Manchin votes yes on that, that passes for children all across America, not just in West Virginia. So I don't know if he needs to be reminded of that or what, but he can't really, it's not fair to say that he works for the people of West Virginia only. I mean, let me know if you disagree with me in any way, shape here. I get what he's saying, but yeah. Now, the good kind of news here is if you actually listen to what he's saying here, he's basically saying he's willing to do a new package. He's not saying that it's a cold hard no anymore. He says when the new package comes around, it has to go through the markup process. He wants it to go through committees, and he wants to. He's basically, he pointed to Lisa Murkowski there and said, she's got to have the right to vote on it, and if she votes on it, she's got to have the right to go through the markup process as well, and because she could vote on it. If you listen to what he's actually saying there and kind of listen to his thought process there, he's actually kind of sound like he's committed, that he knows there's going to be a new package that it sounds like he's okay with. Of course, we're going to have to go through the details and the process and everything like that, and the details, but it's not. He didn't say, I'm not doing a new package. He basically said the new package is just going to have to be done the right way. And this is also kind of what we've seen here in the last several days, where he said, in the new package, you got to fix the tax code. So basically, he's saying, I know there's going to be a new package. Build Back Better is dead. That old package is dead. It's going to be renamed. They're going to probably take a bunch of items out of there and put in the new package, and they're gonna declare Build Back Better dead, and they're gonna declare this new package alive, whatever, right? But the reality of it is, it's probably going to be um, several items from the old package put in the new package, and what else? We'll see. The other really big question here, as we've been talking about, is what are they going to do with the other $800 billion of stimulus money that has already been approved and is just sitting there on the sidelines? And I really think they should take half of that money and send it out as a stimulus check to Americans. And it wouldn't add to inflation. It wouldn't add to the deficit. It's already sitting there approved. So I really think that we need to start a movement on this here. You can let me know your thoughts on that. And I don't think Joe Manchin would be opposed to this because it's already been money approved. It's already been accounted for. It's already been added to the deficit. It's already been accounted for in inflationary terms and everything like that. It's nothing. There's no new money or anything like that. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. But if you actually kind of listen to Joe Manchin, I really didn't see anything negative there. I actually seen a lot of positive things there. He's talking about new packages. Lisa Murkowski is kind of there on his side. She's kind of, they're both kind of on each other's side there. And I really didn't see anything negative there at all. Let me know your thoughts. The other thing they're kind of talking about there is the government shutdown, which is going to be on, what is it, February 18th? Yeah, you can see here, February 18th. The current funding for the federal government will expire on February 18th. We'll have a shutdown if we don't get Congress to agree to this. So they're going to need at least 10 Republican votes in the Senate, along with all the Democrats, to do this. Okay, you can see here, 49 Republicans pledged to shut down the government over federal vaccine mandates. This is what the truckers that are have shut down the transportation lanes, the trucking shipping lanes here in the Canada-U.S. border have done as well. We also have this is just an article from just a couple days ago here. You can see this is on Fox News here from 4 days ago. So we do have Republicans that are, you can read the headline here, pledging to shut down the government over federal vaccine mandates. So we do have a lot of still contention, and this is over the government shutdown as well. The question is, will they get enough support from the Republicans to be able to come to an agreement to fund the government? Now, from what it looks like, is they're not even going to have a full-blown bill for a government shutdown bill. they're just going to do another continuing resolution. So yeah, they're just gonna do another kick the can down the road. Now, how long they're gonna do that for, we don't know. It could be another 3 months. It could be 6 months at this point, where they have basically done a continuing resolution where they fund the government at the current levels. Basically, could be for a whole year at this point because they've already kicked it down the road for a couple months at this point. If they do it for another 6 months, it basically could be a whole year if you add it all up at this point, which would be interesting. But they're going to have to do something because the government's going to shut down here in just a matter of days if they don't get to an agreement. And anytime this happens, it always could happen. Remember, we've had several shutdowns here in recent years, and some of them last for quite a long time. And when this happens, it's never a good thing, especially with the controversy we have going on right now with Ukraine and Russia, and millions of people get laid off from their government jobs. All non-essential services get shut down in the government. We're dealing with a pandemic. It's just something that you never want to see happen. And you never know when they'll actually see a shutdown. It literally just takes one agreement to not happen, and we have a government shutdown. So we were very, very close last time around when they actually got the continuing resolution done. I believe they passed it the night before there was a government shutdown. I know you can't make this stuff up, and they literally, you leave it up to Congress to wait until the last minute, and well, that's what they did. So we'll see if they actually make it in time this time, or if they don't. But I will keep up to date here with everything. Make sure to click the subscribe button down below. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's completely free to subscribe. Help us reach 400,000 subscribers. We're so close. We're almost at 399,000. So if you haven't subscribed yet, it's completely free to subscribe. Subscribe now down below. And also, you can click here to watch our newest video next. Or you can click here to see how we talk about stimulus executive orders that could happen. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.